yeah, it's just like, I mean, again, it seems so simple when you break it down. It's just not that way when I was looking at it. But I know what I'm doing wrong is I'm sort of isolating. I'm really looking for a trade. I'm looking for a reason to trade. I guess because I'm just so wanting to do it
Jump
and
in.
just and see what the real time results are. So I'm looking for trades that probably are not
Aren't
quite
necessarily there.
there yet.
Yeah. Which makes sense, right? Because a lot of people, a lot of people when they kind of do this strategy, yes, it's simple, but the hardest part about this is really twofold. The hardest part about my strategy is one, the fact that you actually have to have patience in
Hmm.
order to potentially make it work, right?
Right.
Which and one way to put it, I guess, is that perfect example for the way I usually phrase it to people is like, would you rather make one trade? I feel like I've said this to you, but would you rather make one trade and make $2,000, or would you rather make four trades that are $500 each, right?
Right.
Well, logically, you're like, well, I'd much rather make the one. Well, here's the catch with that. In order for that to happen, which makes more sense, right? It's less time you're doing that so you can focus on other things. But in order to do that, that basically means you have to say no to the other three trades.
That's right. And
And
and and not knowing that there's another trade coming. I mean, not necessarily knowing that there's another trade coming. You just have to be patient enough because the market may not present that other trade. It just might not be that kind of day. I don't know if that's your experience, but uh,
it depends, right? So look at it from a more holistic, big picture perspective then. So the market will show something, but maybe it's just not that day, you know?
mhm.
So realistically, when you really think about it, it's like, well, let's say you're hypothetical. I have some people that only take, like power, only do plays during power hour, right? So as you can imagine, something which is the last 1 hour of the day, as you can imagine, sometimes they'll make a trade, sometimes they won't because sometimes power hour is just crap and it's just kind of going sideways, not really moving. But maybe every other day or every 3 days, something like that, it flies on up, you know.
Right.
So it's again that's much more of a harder term patience, especially if you're limited yourself to 1 hour, right?
Right.
Obviously. um so you literally ignoring the whole day, but it's the same concept. There will be more trades, but it's just there's more than one day that exists. And on top of that, anyway, you don't have to make money every single day anyway. You just walk away.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and that's sort of my problem is that at least right now, initially, is that I'm um, looking to make money.
Mm.
I'm going to prove to myself that I can do it, and um, I was kind of looking at it, and this is something I just gleaned from the video that you just did like an hour ago. I wasn't looking at the market as in its totality. I was looking at these isolated sections of candles,
Yeah,
and either they set up or they didn't. I failed to look at because looking at the whole market. I mean, it started falling from the minute it opened. I mean, you
yep,
could have did a put at 9:30 this morning and held it, until the afternoon, and you would have made money. Not that you would do that, but I mean that's theoretically what could have happened. Um,
basically, yeah.
and I wasn't looking at it like that. I was looking at it like these four candles are setting up. I didn't look at the entire market having a particular context that I should be reading.
Yeah,
And it just makes sense now. So that's another one of those sort of nuanced things that so it was good today that even though I didn't um, trade necessarily, that bit of knowledge was good because it gave me a deeper understanding of what's really going on.
yeah, because the direction's probably the more one of the more important pieces. I mean, obviously you know it now, but I mean, and even like I called out in the videos, like more than likely it's gonna start pushing up anyway at some point. It's not gonna go down forever, unless there's just some negative news, obviously. But just at the same point, it's kind of interesting, right? Because it's still high level thinking, but it's big picture thinking as far as if it's a call or put,
Hmm.
but the executions and the details, obviously, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Because
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. I want to know what you say.
So, um, does it matter for someone that's just getting started? So today was a down day, a trending down for most of the day. Looks like it recovered towards the end, but for the most part, all day was going down. Should you be taking calls necessarily without having that much experience? Because in other words, I guess the odds in a down market, the odds would be in your favor that a put would be more successful if you kind of get the strategy right, because you already got the downward force already, like the tailwind behind you already.
Yeah. So it just depends on you, right? So if the market's going down, yes, try to find your excuse to do a put, but at the same time, let me go against everything I just said. You could still do a call and make money on it as long as you're clear on what it's bouncing off of and have a clear exit point, right?
Okay.
With that being said, so like the perfect example from the video, like remember this zone down here was from a multi-day zone from 2 days ago. I think it was 2 days ago. Let me see. Was it 2 days? Maximize sell, auto zoom. Yeah, from 2 days ago. So there was a zone from here, it came all the way over, and it finally bounced here, and it started going upwards. Let me go back to the other chart. So like that's one example of, hey, well, maybe you could make a call, because realistically, right, when this is going on, for me, I took this trade, but for me, whenever I took this, I was hoping that it would keep flying up, hit VWAP. Hell, I mean, even go farther, right? But I was hoping for it to hit VWAP. So I went against the market, which could still work.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the fact that I have to have a very clear profit target, which was the next zone. In this case, if it's bouncing here, it's coming up. The next zone is this little spot here. Draw the line. It hit it. Didn't necessarily break through to go up towards the next area. It just fell down. Cool. Then it's like, okay, well, it didn't get farther, but hey, sell here and buy down there. So you can still do it either way, but you have to, if you're doing it against the market, just make sure it's very clear on where your exit point is. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, sure, certainly.